Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here's me today. I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Robbie Peterson Jr. He is a cornerback out of Northern Iowa. Nice to have you today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, nice to get a chance to meet you. I feel like people really need to get a chance to meet you. A highly athletic guy with a whole lot of potential. So, bro, let's just go ahead and get after it. Introduce yourself and let's get going.
I'm Robbie Peterson, cornerback from Northern Iowa. Just graduated this past December.
Cool. So, but bro, before that, let's kind of paint the picture even more so. Obviously from Sarasota, Florida. I attended Sarasota High School, and then eventually did go to Aurora University. I want to eventually talk about your time there, but even before all this stuff, how long have you played football? Can you kind of give me a sense of you and your overall experience?
If I'm not mistaken, I definitely started playing football around 6 years old. Did not get a chance to play flag at all. Straight tackle football. Grew up playing quarterback my whole life, literally
Really?
before college yet. Yeah.
So when did you start playing another position? Was it like high school or what?
It was definitely high school. It was high school for sure. Came in Sarasota. Did not play any sports at my school that I was at. Not gonna lie, I did not want to be there. But then I ended up staying there. I was a backup quarterback on varsity my sophomore year. And then my junior year, I ended up playing a little bit of corner. And then senior year, I ended up playing both. I was back and forth throughout the game, playing quarterback and corner, being that I already been playing it for a while. So, and then corner just stuck with me once I got to Aurora.
All right. You happy playing corner these days? I mean,
I mean, who don't love having the ball in your hand? I definitely love having the ball in my hand. I definitely miss playing quarterback. Corners are definitely new ball game for me, and I've been learning something new every single year, no matter where I'm
no,
at.
I get you, and even the desire to have the ball in your hand, I do feel like that whole mentality has got to help a guy as a defensive back because you want that damn ball, you want that in your hands,
You want it.
and you
So
want
when you
and you
get
want to
it,
make a play with it. So
oh, you.
definitely can appreciate that mentality for sure. So
Mhm.
uh, Robbie, obviously, I have some other things in my notes about your time in high school. Participated in a ton of other sports, some tracks and basketball. Fondest memory of you in high school?
Definitely during track. Track was definitely one of my. It was, I don't know, track definitely is just a good. It was a good spot in high school for me. I started playing it late in high school. I mean, started running it late in high school, I should say.
Sure.
It was my junior year. Uh, Ran track, made it to states. Didn't place anything special at all. Then next year, went and won states actually in track for triple jump, and then I got third in high jump. That's why I feel like track got a nice little warm spot for me in high school. Definitely one of my favorite memories. Yeah.
Well, definitely did well for you as a track athlete. If we're being real about it, did very posted some really good numbers in high school, and then obviously, bro, you ended up taking that with you. Doing a little bit of that when you were at Aurora. Um, Talk to me a little bit about your recruiting coming out of Sarasota High School. Were you recruited as a track athlete, a football player? Talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
I got you. Definitely was recruited as a football athlete. Some schools, when they found out I was doing track, we obviously talked about, a little bit of the track stuff. Our head coach at the time, Spencer Hodges at Sarasota, I had a lot of connections with a lot of bigger schools. So every time they came through, it was always about football and track. But I mean, I had some offers. Started off, don't really know what happened with it, but I had one from Southern Miss and then Stetson University, a school down here in Florida. And then from there, I went on to some camps. Things didn't go as planned at one of the camps at USF. Nothing to hide. I mean, injuries are always out there. I hurt myself at one of the camps, and then I kind of sat out half of my senior year doing football. And from there, it was just a long story.
I
So,
got you, man. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. for you when we're talking
Mhm.
about hiccups along the way. Um,
Yeah,
but if we're being real, I mean, your time at Aurora, it wasn't bad. You had a really good outing at Aurora University. It was first team all conference. And you guys had some very successful seasons there. So it's certainly nothing to be ashamed of. And also did some track and field there as well.
yeah, definitely
So
did.
I mean, I will say this, bro, your track numbers are astounding to me. And so
Mhm.
much so that, dude, I truly felt like you could have done this at the D1 level easy.
I agree. I definitely agree. I wanted to do it at Northern Iowa, but as you know, Northern Iowa strength program is something serious. So it was kind of hard to come in trying to, earn a spot, then trying to tell the coach I want to be on the track team and try to get the strength stuff going on at the same time. So I kind of just my biggest plan was always once I do get to that Division 1 level, strictly just gonna focus on football, depending on how that program can help me transition into doing track if that was possible. But
Gotcha.
definitely wanted to just focus on football my last season at Northern Iowa. And I was definitely comparing my numbers to people's too. I'm not gonna lie to you while I was there, but it is what it is.
Well, I want to talk about these track numbers one more time before we move on because I do feel like people really need to know how athletic this dude is. And please correct me if my numbers are wrong.
Gotcha.
A 6'8" high jumper is pretty damn good. And then I also have in my notes 48.8 in the triple jump. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, you are flying in the air with that triple jump. That is amazing.
Bread
Um,
and butter right there.
yeah,
Definitely bread
man,
and
that is
butter.
gonna really make you some bread for sure. Um, what's the difference between a track athlete and what you're doing out there as a football player?
Tell me about it. I mean, first it goes from being a sprinter to a jumper. That's the biggest difference. But the workouts, man, them sprint workouts, everything you have to do with on that track, if you're a sprinter versus you're a jumper, I mean that's the biggest difference. And then being a football player, I feel like if you did track, it prepares you for a lot of the running that we ended up doing when it comes to football, especially in winter training and conditioning. And I feel like that's what sets a lot of dual athletes apart from just regular football players and their mentality and how they come in and work for everything. And it just being on a track team, I mean, it's not an individual sport, but your events are very individual. So it kind of teach you how to rely on yourself to make sure you're doing everything correctly to help out everybody else. So
I mean, it
that's,
has a lot to deal with things like focus and
oh
just
yeah.
attention to detail.
Oh yeah. It's big time.
Knowing where to jump, where to put your feet, how to maneuver your body,
Hmm.
being prepared to landing properly so you don't hurt yourself.
Can't
Eh,
have fear land. Cannot
There's a,
have fear
I mean,
land. Not
there's
gonna
a
lie to
lot that
you.
goes into it for sure. So, I do want to move on, man, because obviously, I do feel like the track and field stuff does help you, but you're a football player now. And so we got to look at you as a football player. When we look at you as a football player, what type of athlete are you, man? Describe your style a little bit, obviously, as a defensive back.
I mean, as a DB, I've been trying to figure that out myself. I think I'm more of just, I mean, but people kind of describe it when they talk about me, they feel like I'm more of like a calm player. Uh, I mean, physical, getting the run game, don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, usually in the vicinity of the ball, a lot of the times, never really away from it. Uh, and that's part of my game. I'm still working on, trying to really explain it a lot better, but that's kind of just some stuff from the outside looking in from a lot of my teammates and coaches when they watch me play.
No, I mean, I hear you. Just kind of wanted to hear what you had to say about that. How have you been used? I mean, have you mostly been like an outside corner? You playing field boundary? You playing press off? Talk a little bit about that experience more.
So back at Aurora, it was a lot different. We usually had our bigger corner in the boundary, and I was at one of our bigger corners. So I always played the boundary. Always was caught up in man. Never really had a chance in the We ran cover two, three quarters, we ran all the good stuff, but mostly in the boundary, strictly man. Now in Northern Iowa, a lot different. We got two corners pretty much the same size, so we all stayed on whatever side of the field. If we caught in the boundary, we caught in the boundary, setting edges. If we had the field, we had the field trying to make plays. So I mean, I played both at Northern Iowa. Played a lot more boundary at Aurora, and then Northern Iowa defensive scheme was just a lot different. It was a lot more, cover three, quarters. We rarely ran man, to be honest. I'll be honest with you, but when we got a chance, we usually pressed our receivers for the most part.
Gotcha. Robbie, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I feel like the things that are great about you as a prospect are just sheer raw athleticism. When people say things like, "Hey, here is a raw athlete," I don't know. Sometimes that's taken in a negative sense. What's your take on it? If you can share your thoughts.
I mean, I like when people mention that, I'm a raw athlete because being that I do have those raw attributes, when it do come to my game of play and when I'm with a coach that can actually coach my game up to be very technical, all of those other attributes start to show when it comes to the jumping, the speed, everything else just all starts to add up. So I don't mind when people say that. I don't really look at it as a negative thing at all.
All right. Let's start to talk a little bit more about your time there at Aurora. Before we get back to you and I. Again, had a very solid career at Aurora. A lot of great wins. Talk about you early on developing as a defensive back there.
Hey man, I came like we talked about earlier. I came into college really a fresh DB, to be honest. Like I said, I played QB for a while growing up, and just being coached, by Coach BB and his defensive staff that we had at the time. It was new. Everything was new. I was still, learning corner, learning the ins and out of each coverage, no matter what it is, from man to cover three, whatever it is. So I was definitely learning a lot. But as the years went on at Aurora, that time that I did mention, I set out, in season, I got a chance to actually help coach the corner. So I really started understanding the playbook a lot easier. Really started seeing what the coaches are seeing from us, and from the sideline. So I feel like that all helped me a lot. And then that last season at Aurora, I definitely put all of that into play and just relaxed my last season at Aurora and just played. And then it got me to where I am now. And then I just carry all that with me everywhere I go.
Gotcha. Aurora, really good football program. Again, at the Division III level. The last season that you had with them, you guys went 11-1, which
I
is just
mean,
amazing. The only loss there being in the playoffs. Sometimes that's how it goes. But bro, you got yours during the regular season. You got 4 interceptions that season. Um, Best moment while you're at Aurora, when it comes to games or whatever.
best moment, honestly, we had a lot of good ones. I can tell you that. But being that that was my, technically comeback season, I'll say one of my best moments was our second game. I caught a pick, to seal the game. We were kind of going back and forth for the team that we should have been beating, but things happen. Close games happen. But I caught a pick to seal that deal, and that was my first one of the season. And then after that, it's like I was making plays left and right. So that was definitely one of my moments on the team with the boys that year.
Gotcha. Anybody, I don't know, really stick with you still, even from your days at Aurora? Some people that you keep in touch with, maybe a player or two that you want to give a shout out to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got some guys. I don't know,
Yeah,
man. Being at the D3 level, obviously kids, everybody paying to go to school. People really take, pride in playing, no matter what. I mean, you gotta love football to be still playing football. But a lot of those dudes are my brothers. So to be honest, I'm in contact with a lot of those boys. A lot of them check up, but one of them that I'm real close with, Quintarius Davis. My bad. I don't want him to correct me, but he's another corner. That's he basically like a brother. I mean, me and him talk every day, play Warzone every day. Him and my other brothers, he talked to them like they his brothers. We all kind of just locked in from there. He's definitely a solid corner. I'd say more than a solid corner. He had a great season this past season at Aurora before he transferred. 8 PBU, 6 interceptions, returned 3 of them. He's a guy from St. Petersburg. Definitely a good athlete. That's my guy. And then I got other guys like Eddie Ortiz, running back, Jaquay Cretan. I got a lot of guys that I still stay in contact with every other day. Like really,
Awesome.
really brothers for real. That's how I look at them guys.
Hey, got to give a shout out to your boys. I think it's cool. Obviously, man, was able to perform at an elite level at the Division III level. But we're looking at a D3 guy who did get his opportunity with you and I. There in the Missouri Valley. You come into the mix there, and bro, you are starting. We get a D3 guy who immediately becomes a starter. They put you out there on the field, and they say, "Here you go, work." We're ready to see if this Aurora guy can make it. And you had a few decent games this year. If we're being real about it, it is kind of a tough outing overall for the team. Only a few wins, unfortunately. But bro, Missouri Valley is Missouri Valley. It's the toughest football that you can ever see in
Is it
in FCS. So, talk about some of the highs and lows from this past season.
the highs? The highs. They were good when they were good. We went down to Hawaii. I think one of my best highs, to be honest, to go down to Hawaii, catch an interception on the FBS team. To kind of show guys. Coming from D3, playing FCS, and picking off guys in FBS it was pretty fun. Definitely a good high. Hawaii is the best time I probably had, in my life. Not gonna lie, in college wise. But the lows. Lows are tough. As you say, the outcome is not great. I know I'm coming from a D3, but I'm coming from a team that want to win in and out no matter what the cost is. So coming into, Northern Iowa not having a great season wasn't the best, but I took a lot from it. I had a great coach, Bryce Jones. He was in the league. He played for the Texans for about 2, 3 years. I don't know the exact numbers there. Then played in the XFL before he finished up his career, but being that he was a GA at Penn State, he got a chance with a lot of guys like Joey Porter to sit there and coach a lot of those guys. And now to come over to Northern Iowa and be a corner coach. And then me also coming in January with a fresh coach that can actually teach me a lot of stuff. I took a lot. I took a lot from that guy. And you can really add that to the highs, to be honest. So the lows just always be the lows. Never great, but it is what it is.
I hear you. Some of your games were pretty close. Some of them were shootouts. I mean, you guys, really stood toe to toe with a lot of teams this year, but sometimes it just didn't work out the way you wanted. But again, you like you said, I mean, you did have a lot of great plays. I mean, getting the interception against Hawaii was nice.
I was
But again, you had opportunities against FBS opponents this year,
yeah.
and came out okay this year. If we're being real about it, UNI is a great program. Despite being a 3-9 team, they are still well respected in the FCS. Still have a lot of great coaches. We talked about the training staff there too, really putting their guys in a good position to obviously go on to the pros and do well in the pros. Um,
Mhm.
as you leave your mark there and move forward, any last comments about maybe some of the other people that helped you along the way there at UNI?
The corner, just the corner room in general. We had some guys, obviously, seniors and stuff like that, but we had a lot of younger guys. I just got a chance to really bond with those boys, and those boys helped coach me up also. While I coached them up, definitely love those boys. Shout out to those boys. Mark Farley, I appreciate him. He gave me an opportunity. A dude from a D3, like, come on, now, let's be honest. Like, coming to Mark Farley, prestigious UNI, and getting a chance to play. Shout out to him. I definitely appreciate him a lot for giving me that opportunity. Honestly, it was surreal. Not gonna lie to you. It was a good time.
I hear you. It certainly means a lot. Obviously, at the point now where maybe we're moving on. I mean, you did get an opportunity at the Tropical Bowl. They had this little stardom thing going on, and they invited some players out. How did that event work for you, man?
I mean, we just showed up. We had a day of practice on Saturday. One-on-ones it seemed like what everybody was really waiting for at a lot of these bowl games, no matter what type of bowl game it is. I mean, it was cool. I mean, I won some reps in one-on-ones. I lost some. It is what it is. I mean, it's a wide receiver drill. Even though I don't really look at it like that because, I mean, we play man and literally on Saturdays and Sundays, like we play man. It's the same thing. But, won some, lost some. Met a lot of guys. That was cool. Scout wise, one of the agents that was there, kind of that I knew, just mentioned my name to a couple scouts, so that was cool. And then the game the next day, I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy. It wasn't a full game, but it was cool. It was just an experience that I never got to experience, and I'm glad I went to it to be able to check it out.
I mean, at the very least, I mean, you get a chance to rub some shoulders with the NFL. I mean,
Yep.
they're looking at you. They're watching you. You know they're there. They're sitting there. They're watching you again. I mean, obviously there's a lot of guys at UNI practices and going to games and stuff. Watching a whole lot of other guys there as well. But now we're looking at you specifically, Robbie Peterson Jr. as an NFL prospect. Have you wrapped your mind around that yet?
Uh, Sorta. I have a little bit. Like it's definitely crazy, but I kind of try not to trip about it too much. I mean, because I mean, just the more you get in your head about that, and then when it comes to the pro day, you just get all nervous and all that crazy stuff. But it's definitely been different. But I kind of don't trip too much about it. Shout out to Nebraska. Going to Nebraska kind of helped me settle my nerves a little bit. Playing in that big stadium.
I
I
hear
don't
you.
know. That's how I look at things now. Try not to get
Gotcha.
nervous about a lot of stuff.
Um, what are you doing these days, man? Where are you training? You at a facility? What? Give me an idea of what's going on.
I'm training down at the Trench Academy here in Tampa, probably about 20 minutes out from USF with Coach Taylor, Coach Antron, and then Coach Dennis. A couple of those guys are speed and strength coaches. I'm training there. We're doing speed trainings in the morning. Right after speed, we got some lifts, and then certain days out of the week, we got position training with other guys. Our position coach and then Coach Blake. A couple of those guys come in and just talking football and running through drills at that point. Then a bunch of recovery right after every single day that they have there.
So, I mean, bro, I'm looking forward to you jumping out the gym on your pro day. Like, if I
Me
don't see
too.
a 40-inch vert, I'm gonna be upset. If I don't see, you know what I mean? Like, I know you have it in you to do a lot of great things to maybe even perhaps set some records in some of these drills, man. Like, I'm expecting a lot of great things out of that. When is that pro day?
March 24th. It's on a Monday. I mean, all I gotta say is I'm definitely planning on setting something. Something is gonna get set. I don't care what it is. I plan on having good numbers and I plan on setting something. I mean, that's the whole point of that pro day. Not to just go in there, stick your foot in, and then leave. I'm trying to leave some type of mark. I mean, you gotta leave something. That's
Yep, you
my
want to
goal.
turn some heads. So I
That's
hear
my
you.
goal. Yeah.
Um, Anything else that we need to learn about this Robbie Peterson Jr. guy before we wrap things up? Anything else that you want to talk about to share, whether it be hobbies? You got anything else going on in your life? Any special talents, fun facts, anything you want to share about yourself?
I mean, honestly, I don't really. Besides football going on right now, that's really the special, thing going on. Uh, I mean, honestly, not saying I'm a boring guy. I mean, I play Warzone and stuff with my guys, but other than that, I really say no. I mean, the main thing I want teams to know is just like I I I need an opportunity. I don't care how I get it. As long as I get an opportunity, that's all I'm looking for, and I'm gonna pursue what I gotta pursue. I mean, that's just where my head is right now, to be honest. But
I
everything else, though, I don't got really too much, to be
I
honest.
got you. What's the family situation like? You got some brothers and sisters? What's the family demographic look like?
Yeah. I got 15 siblings. My
Are
mom
you
got
for
8.
real?
Yeah, I'm for real. My mom got 8.
Holy
I
crap!
mean, and then my dad got 9. They only share 2 of us, and he's a year right under me. And everybody think we twins, but I got a lot of siblings. So out of everybody, clearly they don't share everybody. Like I said, they share 2, but I still look at them all the same. No half bloods. I know people be asking about all that. Um, I am one of the oldest. I'm the fourth oldest. I got a couple older brothers for sure. And then the youngest one is 2 years old right now. So and he's definitely a bad one. He's in a terrible twos right now. I can tell you that.
I mean, I can imagine with such a big family, you guys, dude, you got to compete. You guys are
Oh,
always competing over stuff, whether it be
yeah,
like the last morsel of food or, some board game, card game or something.
yeah,
Uh, Maybe like the remote.
yeah. That too. I mean, I got them, but that's just my intermediate family. The family outside of that is crazy. We got a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles and all the crazy stuff. So it's a lot of competition going on literally everywhere.
Hey, learning how to compete at a very young age. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, again, as a little baby cub, you're fighting for something. It just seems with a family that large.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
so obviously, man, it's something that stuck with you. Uh, Very competitive guy. Always want
Hmm.
to be the most athletic guy out there. Always want to get your hands on the ball. And obviously, right now, we're looking at you as a guy who wants to make it to the league. Um, as we wrap up shop, man, go ahead and tell all these people what they'd be getting if they took a chance on you, man. Finish with your final thoughts.
They'll be getting a hard worker, dedicated. Not always trying to prove a point, but we trying to prove a point here. A guy from a D3 just trying to show everybody that it's possible. Started off by obviously making it the FCS level. And you're getting a leader. Been leading, been a captain for a while, track, football. Um, and other than that, I mean, that's me. Don't want to not say I don't want to boost it up too much, but a guy I am, and the leadership stuff come from just being an older brother, and I'm kind of just used to it. So anybody in my room can tell you, corner room from Aurora to you and I, that's just me. Just coming in, work, get the job done, lock in, and make the best of whatever opportunity I can get from literally anybody.
Gotcha. Well, we are here to boost you up a little bit, Robbie. Feel like you are a prospect who has a lot of great potential. And I feel like there's going to be some team somewhere who's going to say, man, this guy's got, so many tools to work with. I don't know what we're going to do with him, man. We'll throw him out there. We'll eventually get him on the field and just allow him to work. But as you pursue your goals, man, just want to wish you all the best. Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
Sure. Once again, I got with me Robbie Peterson Jr., defensive back out of Northern Iowa. Check him out.
Check him out. Check him out.